This will be an update to the Quickdraw Weaving program's palette control screens. In this particular case, what I've actually added is an image button here. If I look at the image, you'll notice the message down on the bottom of the screen. At the moment, I do not have an image on it. So if I will load one just to show a reference. And what I'm going to do is a Control A and a Control C tells Paint to copy my image. So I've got that little reference blue and red square. When I do the mouse over now, it's telling me there is an image on the clipboard. So if I hit the click, it pastes that image in and it makes it as large as it can fit in the space here. Now I can scroll in on that. You'll notice if I use the left mouse click button, I can move that image up and down. And if it's large enough, use the mouse wheel to scroll it up. And if I drag it across, it's really large. You can see that I can scroll it both directions. There's an area in that overall image that I'm going to extract for the reference color here. And I can use the right mouse click to drag where I want that on the image. Now, as I drag the image, you'll notice right now it's all red because I'm in the red zone. As I move into a little bit more blue, you'll watch the blue come up as the red goes down. So it turns into purple, gradually all the way into blue. So in that way, it'll average across that screen with the red, green, and blue channels. So it'll give me the equivalent average of what the color in that area is. That's the reason I'm using a nice simple image here, is it's easy to see that difference. Turn that off for a second. Let me load another image. Okay, this is a garden scene. Again, I'm going to do select all and copy, so I've now got that image. If I come back over and paste that image, here's the overall image. So I'm going to use the left mouse wheel. I'm scrolling in, and then I'm going to use the left mouse button to look into a smaller area. Too big, lost it. There it is. So what I want to do is pull this guy up. I'm going to use the right mouse click. So I can now select that area I want to see, and I've got a color, and I want to add that color, so it's now in the palette. You'll notice there's a lot of variation in the colors on that flower. Go back over the guy with some zoom on it. Now I can actually select the colors. If I use the right mouse click, I can select a small area. I can average across a big chunk of it. And as I move around, you'll notice the hue of that changes. So I can actually average across a fair amount of flower. And if I add that color to the screen, I've now added that to the palette. And if I want to pull some green, I can pull that green. And again, it's kind of averaged across the chunk of leaf there. And add that color. And then if I want to get some more of the plants over here. So I can set up the complete palette based on the colors in that image if I want to. So that's one thing I can do, is I can pull colors from whatever the image is. Now another aspect of what that image might be, in this particular case, I have 3 images that have the same basket of yarn in different lighting conditions. The one on the right here is in bright sunlight, and you can see there's a lot of reflection on it. The one in the middle was taken on an overcast morning, so it's a little bit softer. And then the one on the left was taken with an LED work light in my shop. So you can physically see what the difference in the colors is, and it's amazing just how much varies. So the color you get is going to depend on how it's lit, so just keep that in mind. Now let me pick up this one. Control A, Control C, and I've now got the image on the clipboard. If I go back to Quickdraw, turn that image off, turn it back on again, I now have the whole basket of yarns that I was just looking at. And in this particular case, let me zoom up and scroll around. Now you'll notice I've seen the bright spots for the lights on it and the dark spots. So the nice thing about the averaging is it'll pull the equivalent purple out of that. Same thing over this guy, so I can, drag that into the color palette. That add color, and I do the same thing over here on the blue. And I can scroll around. I can do the same thing on the bottom half of the image if I want to. So that gives me the ability of going through from a variety of sources. It's convenient means to figure out how the colors you may have already in your stash are going to work together. I think I didn't mention the other thing it'll also do, if you hit the black and white button, it will give me a totally grayscale version of that so I can see what the deep color values are, if that's useful to you. And once I play with the image there, for example, the gold, if I wanted a little bit more yellow in that, I can then manipulate that before I save it, or a little bit less brown, whatever. If I go back into the image, it's going to go back and average the colors that were there. So that gives me the ability to paste an image and extract colors from that image. Thank you now. Bye.